Good afternoon. This is Dr. Barbara Gast, and it's for my GBS151 students at Mesa Community College. All right. We now are into a new topic this week. This is week 5, module 5, week 9, module 5, and we should be doing chapters 9 and 10. This week, you should be reading and then answering the discussion questions. Next week, you will be doing the quiz on Friday. That would be a week from Friday. And then a week from Sunday, you are going to be turning in a paper on retaining employees. Okay? Just had office hours. Some of you said that you have trouble viewing through WebEx, and so I'm not sure how to help you on that. You might check with tech support because WebEx is what officially is used by Mesa Community College, so that's why we use it. In other instances, other institutions, I'm using Zoom. I don't use Zoom here because that's not the preference for MCC. So let's just talk a little bit on these chapters. It's a great areas and talking about why we use a job description, all the way from a job analysis to selecting to recruiting. Well, we recruit and then we select and then we hire. If the job description hasn't been done properly, we're going to have some issues. We also use it for performance evaluation. How do we know if the employee is performing? So that job description is pretty important. So read closely when you're looking at that. Also, when we are recruiting individuals, we are looking for a strategy. But where do you want to position yourself as a company? And you could be a low-cost employer, meaning Walmart, for instance, their strategy is low cost, and so you would assume that positions with Walmart are going to be a little bit lower than with other competitors. Now, the strategy isn't always the same at the low or mid level. When you get to the high level, senior level, generally they pay much more. And then I'm going to be offering some guidance on comparing CEO salaries to the average person. I won't go into that here, but in the WebEx, there'll be something along that line. Then I just want you to gain some respect in chapter 9. That benefits, there's nothing requiring benefits to be paid for by a company. I mean, saying they are required to take certain taxes like Social Security and workers' compensation. But when it comes to health care, they're not required to give you health care. They're not required to give you time off. They're not required. When I say required, I mean there's no law that mandates, either state or federal, that you have to do this. It is done as a recruiting tool. It started probably right after World War II. They started offering this. So we now see kind of a menu of what's offered and to be competitive, and that's the reason they do that. Some companies, for instance, if pregnancy, you have a pregnancy in your family and under your health care, you may not be paid for that time off while having the child. In some cases, it's now changed where even an adoption, they will pay for it. So it varies from company to company. The compensation package is both the salary and the benefits, the two parts. And we also take a look at performance appraisals because, again, that's tied with the with your job description. And that's not about a person. A job description talks about the position, irrespective of who's doing it. This position does certain tasks. And we also relate that in a job description. It will talk about SKAs. That's, KSAs. Knowledge, skills, ability. If you want to look at something that of interest, you might go onto your search engine and put in ONET. That's O-N-E-T, ONET. That is the Department of Labor. You can search for all kinds of positions. You could say HR manager and look and see what the SKAs, because they'll be listed. You can also look at how much the average salary is, how much education is required. It's a standard measurement. Say SKAs appear in job descriptions. They may not call them that. In most cases they do. So that will get you into the chapter 9. And then we look at chapter 10. We're really concentrating on what motivates people, what sets them apart. And there's all kinds of theories, management theories. They're basic concepts. And if you go on in business, you will probably want to know these. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's right out of psychology. With theory X and Y. What kind of manager are you? Think of X. No, you don't want to be a theory X. You want to be a theory Y, which is a more positive environment to be operating out of. We can talk about expectancy theory or goal setting, and saying we have expectations of our employees. We set goals and measure their performance by those goals. And goes on to different ways that you can enhance the working environment. There's telecommuting, which right now this would be called a type of telecommuting. How teams operate and the use of teams. Very important, because teams, over half of our work today is happening in teams. So we want to know about this. I hope you're doing well. Always challenging times, but this is the period right now, chapters 9 through 10. We're in module 5, and so including this one, we have 4 modules. We're more than halfway through, just a little over halfway through the course. And I will have the grade book on. It's trying to get that up to date now. 2 things have been happening with me. I have an elderly parent that has moved in with me, so kind of unexpectedly, so I'm sorry about that, taking some of my time. And the week before that is I had a death in the family. So if you're like me, there's just something always going on. Don't drift away. I have a few of you reached out and saying, if you're missing some assignments, I'll work with you. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. And well, we had elections last night. We're not done. We don't know who won. It's still evolving. But let me share this. Let's be gracious. That's the sign of a scholar. Is that when we win or we lose, that we have the transfer of power and the recognition of the power. And that as a country, that's what makes us great. So whoever you affiliate with, or don't affiliate with, I want to encourage you to have respect for the voting process, and that this makes us different than other countries. And does it matter? Yes, it does matter. We can fiercely debate, but when it's all over, we don't hate someone who doesn't think like us. What we do is try to listen to the argument, dissect the argument, and once things are done, we can accept or not accept, but we're gracious. We're always gracious. So keep that in mind. I hope that you are doing well, and that if you need something, please reach out to me. Okay? I want you to be good. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next week.